Okay guys, greetings. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the principles of teamwork and combat mutual support. So with a bit of an introduction, my career is involved in training in various different levels, pilots, fighter pilots, and pilot instructors to become future instructors. And one of the key points in essentially any combat organization is being able to work as a team. No one wants to have to run behind someone who tries to become a solo artist, which just ends up getting everyone killed or problems. So, with the reality that teamwork is needed, and this Space Marine 2, as well as many other games, is essentially a combat game where you work as a team in a squad. There are some important elements that you can apply to get ultimately the best out of your experience. So obviously you can play casually for fun, or you can put your head down, try work together as best as you can to achieve the best possible outcome. And this obviously becomes more of a requirement at the higher difficulties in the game, especially when you're working for things like flawless runs and other types of challenges as well. So some key elements related to teamwork, specifically in a combat context, we can focus on three overall elements, which sort of fits into another key element itself. So the three essentially are mutual support, situational awareness, and communication. And with these three, they are required at any time, at all times, and in various sequences, but this will be decided by the concept of task priority. And applying those original three sort of goes in a work cycle that you cycle through, not in any specific order, except the priority at the time based on certain elements, especially related to the environment or the battle that you're currently in. Okay, so looking individually at these things is obviously critical, but also giving an overview can help sort of the broader context of why these things are important. So when we have these elements, mutual support, situational awareness, communication, and we need to prioritize them, it will be obviously depending on the aim, there can be sort of some expectation or briefed manner of taking steps in each mission that you expect the other member to just do without really having to say anything. So when these things are enacted or started, when you begin your mission or your PvE mission operation, you have certain expectations based on each other's role. And in this case, obviously, Space Marine 2, there's different classes, they have different abilities, they have different weapons. And when you start, you assume that everyone is ready with what they started. Obviously, as time goes on and weapons are used, things change. There's different enemies, there's different amounts of enemies, there's different categories of enemies, and each of those will deplete your ammunition, potentially your armor, health, and your abilities. And obviously, as these change, the assumption that you are fully ready will no longer be valid. But no one can read your mind, and depending on UI settings, distractions, objectives completed versus not yet completed, enemies killed or not yet killed, these expectations that were had at the beginning are obviously in a different state. And you will have to be able to communicate this change so that the best outcome and expectation at that moment for the next best action can be made or decided upon. So, when assuming the best or the current or the norm or the standard, that is the way you're going to move forward. When something changes, it must be communicated or inquired about as would be expected after a large battle, like everyone state, are you good? Do you have ammo? Do you need ammo? Or I'm low on ammo, I have zero ammo, my ability is ready, my ability is not yet ready, my ability is half ready. And then be supportive in assisting. But if you require assistance, you need to communicate this. So sometimes, and when everyone's sort of in their best possible level of situational awareness, they would be able to notice that someone might need support or require assistance. On the other hand, that person that is needing the support or the assistance should be able to communicate this ideally sooner rather than later. But if something is overwhelming or distracting, it might not occur in the ideal time. And this is where, the things of practice makes perfect come in, and at least understanding these concepts of communication to let the other know that the conditions on which your readiness level is has changed. So, with one example, you have a battle, you start from the beginning, all abilities are maxed out and ready, full ammunition, full armor, full health. Now, you might have some expectations, you might have some wishes, and generally, most people would like the best outcome. But as a team, you need to work together, regardless of perceived experience, role played rank, or level of time put into this game, that the outcome might not occur in the way that you want. If you want to work to get the best outcome, you need to have mutual support, situational awareness, and communication all the time when anything changes off the standard. So when you fight and your ammo is depleted, you can no longer provide support that is ranged. And you need to then communicate, so at least someone that might pick up ammunition pauses to say, hey, he just requested or let us know that he doesn't have any, so I'll rather let him pick it up. In the same way, if someone's health is low, depending on the classes you have available, if you have a Vanguard with a perk that allows extremist heals, then if it's been communicated that he needs a heal, you could be ready to let him rather kill it to get the extremist health back rather than you. Again, if you haven't noticed this and the person hasn't said this to you, then you're completely within your right to finish this enemy off, and then they wouldn't have no reason valid to complain if they needed something that they didn't communicate to you. If you have a bulwark, they can have a banner hill, and someone might need it and they have a med or they don't have a med. And the best ideal is that everyone can heal themselves in the best way. If it is done without communicating and someone just assumes that, hey, here's a staggered enemy in front of me, I'm going to execute them. But then someone else wanted to use that for their heal for a banner. If they didn't communicate it to you, then you have nothing to worry about. They were wrong by not saying, hey, please don't do that. We need to heal this other person. Or I needed that, etc. After the fact is irrelevant. If you didn't say something, it was your fault for not communicating it early enough. Next time, say it sooner. Request what your need is before it comes to the last minute, thinking people can read your mind. That is not how real life works, and that's usually how people that are condescendingly arrogant and just play solo or do things by themselves only never work with a team and ultimately get their people in their team killed in real life, and very much easily the same context in Space Marine 2 as well. Other considerations with this mutual support idea is that in order to be able to provide the best mutual support, you don't want to stray off too far from each other. In any sort of combat type environment, there are different types of tactical movements, which are usually referred to, especially in this line of work that I've done, as a tactical formation or battle formation, which means you walk ahead, move ahead in the best possible formation relative to each other so that you can look out for the other person's blind spots so they can look out for yours while you're also simultaneously checking what is coming your way at the same time. All right. If you get too far away from each other, then you can't look after them, they can't look after you, and you won't even know what's coming behind you. You have two arms, you're standing on two legs, there might be a horde of enemies and you might be good, but if the numbers become overwhelming, the physics is physics, and if someone can't support you, you're eventually just going to be whittled down and possibly get killed, downed, etc. If you're just running ahead, well, then why are you even playing with other people? Then just play solo and, brag to yourself. In terms of when you are doing it correctly, there are certain things in the moment which have a priority, as we discussed, not just the elements of teamwork, mutual support, situational awareness, and communication, but they have their own subcategories depending on what context of threat is being faced. So, for example, we already know that the enemies are categorized as minoris from the word minor, majoris from major, extremis from extreme, and terminus from something that is terminal, something that will kill you very quickly. So that is an obvious priority just by the value of their name, but they also have the subcategories. So majoris, you've got melee majoris, you've got range majoris. Within the range majoris, there are ones that will slowly pick away at your armor and health. There's ones that will take a serious chunk off very quickly if you're not careful. So they also have their own subcategory of priority. Sometimes an extremist in that time can be more of a problem than a terminus that you can sort of dodge around a bit, but this depends. There are many variations. The whole idea is to see what is causing the most havoc and threat to your survival as a team and prioritize that and then communicate the position. Sometimes we know that there are corners and then direct line of sight might be obstructed. You're not necessarily far from each other, but now if you're fighting an enemy that someone else cannot see, then something like pinging it at least helps them with their SA in case, for example, a convict suddenly decides to change his target and someone didn't even see it coming because it was around the corner and it wasn't communicated clearly. Right. With that situational awareness, your SA might be higher than your teammates at the time, and then theirs might be higher than yours at the time. This is why doing it together makes the best outcome overall. If you see something coming, but they don't, you can tell them, hey, look out, this is coming, and vice versa. Not saying anything means you allowed something to happen when you could have said something. Right. Again, mutual support means you're not only looking out for yourself, you know that someone is looking out for you, but you are also providing this to them. So during executes, you can look around at the camera, see what's coming next for you, but let someone else know. If you see someone struggling that what you think looks like that, you can assist by providing range support, which would be normal in a combat scenario like these ones, which portray you just want to destroy every enemy in existence. So, shooting an enemy, yes, someone might be busy doing it, but if you perceive that they might be struggling, assist them. Unless they specifically state to you that, no, I'm okay, then no problem. But if someone gets again upset because you are shooting at something that you thought was actually causing them damage, then they have some other problem of their own. And if they're really again going to get butthurt about that, that's nothing to do with you. They're just could have communicated something better, and you were just providing help. So be proud of that. Work as a team, not as a single person that wants everyone to look at them so they can have their own ego inflated in their own mind. This is just an overview of the idea of best practices in teamwork, especially in a combat scenario, based on real life experience and training, and having good mutual support, communication, and situational awareness within a constantly changing dynamic environment when done properly without any ego attached or ego driven expectations that are anti team, then when done properly, you will get definitely the best outcome possible. So, a few more videos can be made on specifics of each subcategory, and I'll look into making those. But for now, I hope at least this provided some insight into something you can apply even in real life to work together as a team with real individuals, human beings regardless of rank, position, whether real life or enacted, just any member that has ever been part of something which is critically reliant on another team member, position, ranks, and qualifications that are related to sort of seniority or not fall away and are completely irrelevant if you literally have to rely on someone to look out for you and you need to make sure that you're looking out for them. So I hope this was informative and encourages good, friendly, but also focused team playing when the situation demands and the challenge demands. Take care, brothers. The God Emperor protects.